All right, at 38 seconds, Ladyattis said that the allele frequency variations in populations are just that. Allele frequency variations, and that there are, well, there's more than one, but there's very little specific gene differences between populations, ethnicities, races, whatever you want to call them. And right, Addis, that's what I mean by base pair difference. Okay, and so that thing, what you said at the beginning was an implicit straw man. Yeah, it was an implicit straw man. Nobody is saying that one group of human has, qualitatively different genetic code. And nobody's saying that. That's an implicit straw man. And if you want to reduce further, well, then all life shares the ACTG of DNA. And I don't even know what point you were trying to make with that. At 116, nobody is talking about hierarchies unless you want to make one. I never talked about hierarchies. Most white nationalists don't even speak in terms of racial hierarchy. By addressing racial hierarchy, you imply that there was some significant population that believes in racial hierarchy. There is not. You're like brain police. you're ghost busting. I don't know what you mean by static structure that we would deem as race. Does something have to be static for it to be categorized? Species is not static. Species evolves over time as well. I don't even know what point you're trying to make by saying race isn't a static structure, which I agree with, but it's a non sequitur, and it doesn't seem to have any relevance to anything. As for the Jews and Arabs, there is a population we call and largely identify as Ashkenazi Jews. This population is genetically distinct from the population we call and largely identify as Arabic. Behavioral differences between these populations can be caused by aggregate genetic differences and/or by aggregate environment differences. The behavioral differences between Ashkenazi Jews and Arabs, however defined, could be caused by genetic and/or environmental differences. My guess is it's some of both. What percentage, I don't know. At around 2:44, you just make a leap to a completely different topic. Now, you're saying, well, I have no idea what you're saying. You speak about keeping people you don't want off of your property through the use of force, right? Which is how all property is maintained. It's sustained by violence at the margins. And then you somehow insinuate that that's bad. Now, I know you're not against the use of violence to sustain property at the margins since you're a market anarchist. I guess you just don't like people doing it based on the characteristics commonly referred to as racial. And in the same breath of racial exclusion, you talk about eugenics and genocide and race-based aggression. You're just conflating totally different things in a very ham-fisted way and just baldly asserting that one leads to another. With this line of reasoning, I could claim that any form of exclusion leads to acts of positive aggression. Why stop at ethnicity? How about religion? Religion may be a choice at the end of the day, but it's so solid in people that it functions practically the same as genetics. You are born into a religion, so we can't exclude Muslims? Now, I know you wouldn't say that. I know you're just fine with excluding religious people. I'm just saying that you're holding race by a different standard is unprincipled and ad hoc. And and this is so odd. Like, Ladyattis, aren't you supposed to be a market anarchist? Like, this is the basics of the basics. States cannot be sustained by force alone. They are sustained primarily by belief and force at the margins. No population, unless it has somewhere around a 95% majority in an area, is going to be able to sustain aggression against a minority without a state. This is simple. Do you not understand how the state works? Did you not read anything by Rothbard? Hell, even ancient kings knew that their power was sustained by belief. I don't know what you mean by arguing against overly emphasizing ethnicity. I don't care about ethnicity at all, believe it or not, and I'm sure a few of you still probably not. But it's not wrong in any objective way. Value is subjective, and it will not lead to the harm of anyone but intrusive busybodies who want to tell others how to live. Okay, because that cannot be sustained by force alone. I don't know what you mean by one race can't be more powerful than another. You say it's all. I mean, you talk about some stupid things, and then you say one race cannot be more powerful than another. Now, I don't recall Spock or I saying anything about this. You're bringing up lots of new things. But as for saying that one race can't be defined as more powerful than another, of course you can. All you have to do is define race somehow, define power somehow, and you can come up with a rough calculation. For example, you can define power as penis size. See which race, however race is defined, has the biggest penis and say that that race is the most powerful. Not that I would ever do that, but no, you can define race, you can define power, then you can say one race is more powerful than another. And I swear to the non-existent, I really don't care about this, but Ladyattis, you're just saying things that are matter-of-factly wrong. As for the bell curve, no, Charles Murray is a hereditarian. Go look that up if you don't know what that means. This is just a very simple factual error. And then you made up some stuff about his position, talking about vector coordinates or something, to make it sound like you actually read about his work, which you did not. And I don't know why you even brought that up. Spock was talking about racial exclusion, then Luddite started talking about race per se, and I responded to him, and now you're talking about power, and now IQ. I mean, broadly speaking, sure, it's all about race, but these are complete different topics, and you're just meshing them all together. But really, what I think needs to be said is that culture is a cop-out. If you think some people are doing things that leads them to behave in a certain way, cool. You could say what that is. You can say what parents are doing to their kids to make them behave differently in this population in a systematic way. But culture, just saying culture, doesn't refer to anything. And I think that word just needs to be, I don't know if gotten rid of is a bit too harsh, but just it should be used at a minimum. And then you just asserted that ethnicity was a mechanism by which humans are heterogeneic rather than homogeneic. For most of human history, people never bred outside of, say, a 100-mile radius. That is, for most of human history, humans never bred very far outside of a given area. So during the evolutionary period of man, ethnicity could not have served the evolutionary function you are ascribing to it. And again, I swear I don't care, I really don't, but please, don't try to lecture me about race, or anyone about race. You're just, this is just wrong.